How much does quality matter when it comes down to profits? At the end of the day, I mean, we're in business. We're here to make money. We've got to support ourselves, our family. So isn't profits what really takes priority over a lot of things? And even on the quality front, right? Just what is quality? What's the definition of that? We want to talk about quality, but actually define it. What is quality? Let's take today, let's discuss it. It's on my mind. We haven't had a good vlog in a while, so why don't we do that? I think today is a great day for a great vlog. Let's go along with the journey.
Good morning, Holden. Are we just gonna get the cold brew?
Every 10 coffees, you get a free one. It's like every other day, right? Thank you much. Have a good one. So I don't get just regular cold brew. Now I prefer cold brew because, I prefer the cold drink. I find the flavor is actually more bold and stronger with cold brew. But I also get a shot of espresso. And something I found fascinating is when you combine a good cold brew with a good espresso. Oh my gosh. If you don't hate, try it once. Try not to have a heart attack in the process. Just try it once, please. It is the flavor. The flavor is what we're after. Flavor is fantastic. Got a chiller service call downtown. They're having issues with the evaporator stacking oil. They were having some water flow issues. They got that fixed yesterday, but they were really struggling with the oil. So we're gonna go up there, see if we can get that back to the compressors and hopefully keep them online a little bit longer. Well, that wasn't so bad. It was pretty interesting though. The barrel had a bunch of air stacked in the top of it, so they were having trouble with heat exchange, and they were going through the flow parameters, and the flow and everything was lining up where it needed to. But I just looking at all the readings, I came down to we've either got really bad fractionated refrigerant, or which is 410A, or we had some kind of airlock condition. Both circuits were basically identical to each other, so there's no way that, or at least in my mind, I had a really hard time justifying it to be fractionization. So that's where I went to the airlocks piece of it, realized there were no bleeders in the loop. That's when I shut down the chiller, shut down the pumps, and isolated the barrel. I opened the vent plug on the top of the barrel, and sure enough, just started spewing air. Cracked the valve, took several seconds for all that air to bleed out of it. Technician's gonna be getting air bleeders put in, and he's gonna take care of the rest from there. It does have flow issues. Some of it's partially designed. It's got a weird decoupler loop that I'm not a fan of. There's a belief system that jobs should only take so long, and based off of whatever type of equipment you're working on and what repair, what troubleshoot you're having to do, it should only be so much. So I'll use a basic example. Let's say you've got a smaller RTU, about 5, 10, 20 tons, something like that. You send a technician out there. That technician should only have to spend maybe 2 hours max to make any diagnosis he would ever need to make. And while there is some truth to that, it's not always that simple in my opinion. And so the thought is that we're gonna do this, and if that technician takes longer than that, then he's taking too much time and it's somehow detrimental to the customer. And that ends up leading to that technician's got to get out. And so from a management level, if you see a technician spending that much time on a job, then you need to start putting pressure. What's going on? Why aren't you getting out? Are you having trouble? Why aren't you moving on? You're taking too much time to do this service call, and you need to get down the road and get to the next service call, because again, typically with every call ran, you can make better profits by charging your minimums. So a lot of companies will have a minimum, whether it be a 2 hour, 4 hour, and then you may have trip charges. And so you get into really trying to focus on better volume. You want good volume out of your technicians, because that higher volume leads to better overall profit margins versus them spending more time on a specific job. And there is some logic to that, and in some cases that has some real truth to it. That first call at minimum will be cheaper for the customer, which always makes it easier to bill that to the customer when the overall cost is lower each time. And because you're able to do that, it can be really viewed as we provided a really good quality of service. We kept our hours down, we got them a diagnosis, we got them back online, whatever was needed, and we were able to move on, and they didn't have to spend any more than was absolutely necessary at that time. And so that leads us to the challenge of the definition of quality. Is that true quality? Is the true quality the fact that you got him a diagnosis, you moved down the road, now they're paying less for that first service call? And I'm going to stop right there, and I think there's two ways to think about this, because sure, you give the customer a good service. Yes, that is one way to look at it. But something I've seen when you put technicians in a tight bubble like that and they become really focused on profits is that puts a lot of pressure on them, and it really manipulates their mindset when they're on the job site and they're trying to think about, I need to fix this and I need to get moved on, and I've got several other calls I need to do today, and I'd like to get home at some point tonight. And that really starts to weigh on a technician's mind. And I can say that because, it weighed on my mind. It was something I actively thought about, and I've had technicians that it actively challenges them on a day-to-day because they're so concerned about, I need to get out of here, I want to be profitable. I've gotten those phone calls from guys and they're honed in on, hey, well, I've already been here 3 hours, I'm really having trouble with this because I'm taking too much time, because, well, the shops that are worried about profit and worried about call volume and those types of things, that's what they're really honed in on, is we've got to move on so we can get more work done. You can't spend too much time on a single job, and that does mean they could get in trouble. So what about that means the technician is actually giving the customer the appropriate time and attention that they need in order to get the correct diagnosis? Because I think that we end up creating people who, they're parts changers. We want to know how parts changers come to be. I don't think it's out of pure laziness. I think it's out of management pressure. We as management apply way too much pressure on the technician to move on and get the job done, blah, 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 blah. And now they have to throw something at it. The customer's not going to let them walk away with no diagnosis, but they haven't really got to finish sorting through what their problem is. But they know that if they spend any longer, they're going to be looked down upon or legitimately in trouble for it. By the way, my little desk setup here that I created, freaking love this thing. I figured out too, I can put it across the passenger seat. It makes a nice little side table, makes it great for eating lunch in the truck. Highly recommend making your own. So I just got a call from one of my technicians. He's downtown. He ended up breaking down. So we're gonna run down there real quick. It's the end of the day. You've kind of traversed major time here. So I started off very first thing in the morning, went chiller call, blah, blah, blah. Now it's end of day. My interview I had canceled. That's fun. He ended up actually getting another job. So good for him. Let's go get my guy home. That's what I'm focused on right now. He's broke down. Let's get him home. Anyway, quality. I'm focused, I swear. This is my life. A lot happens. I'm always moving every which direction. Something's just always something going on. What do we got going on, guys? Good. Broke down hard. What'd you break? We figured it out yet?
There's all sorts of weird things happening here.
We know he's getting fuel, but I don't know if he's getting spark or not.
And I'm weirded out by the fact that there's no water in the car.
Mr. Scientist, is there a way that I can test those to see if they're getting spark? Because I pulled them out, stuck my damn screwdriver in it, and let him crank it.
Which screwdriver? Not this one, right?
My insulated one, yes. Just the tip.
Did you try and arc it off the other tip or what?
So when you grow up being a mechanic and then you go work at a shop with a bunch of mechanics and your car breaks down, you get an auto service. Well, we gave it an honest effort. Honestly, we couldn't get it going. He only paid like $200 for the car here recently, so honestly, he's just gonna let the thing go. He's figuring that out now. I gotta get home to the family. Try not to get ran over crossing the street. Okay, so yeah, quality of work. We're talking quality of work. Let's get back on topic here. So the way that I manage it with my team, I want to give the guys the time that they need to actually do a full troubleshoot and do it right the first time. So, instead of it being, hey, you know what, within 2 hours, you ought to have that RTU call done and moved on. There are plenty of things, in my opinion, that when we do a complete troubleshoot and really go through that system, it may take more than that. Or maybe they ran into something that they haven't seen before, but just because they haven't seen it before and it takes them a minute to figure it out for the first time, that's just a part of this industry and hiring the trades. And so fine, you can make an argument, well, that's not the customer's fault that the technician don't know what he's doing. But at the end of the day, I think it's a very shallow argument, and I don't see that much validity in it. But what I do see validity in, them having the ability to completely go through that system. They're not worried about time, they're not worried about budget. What they're worried about is getting a really good diagnosis and making sure that we can do a really good repair. And that leads to a good service to the customer. I've seen where I've taken away the parts changer aspect out of the equation. And so they're no longer trying to get a diagnosis so that they can move on to the next thing, because they don't actually know the complete story. They figured out enough to call it something and then move on. at that stage, because you get a really great diagnosis up front the first time, it removes so much of the callback aspect. Since we've really started to practice that, our callback ratios have dramatically gone down because, well, the guys are getting the right thing the first time and they're not having some kind of unnecessary pressure to just produce volume. I think that is a bigger disservice to the customer. I think that is a less quality of work. While it is more profitable for a company, in my opinion, I think that the quality served to the customer ends up suffering because we're so focused on what I think is the wrong thing. Because in my opinion, and the way that I like to operate, and this is just me, I know that there are a lot of shops, a lot of places would just run me out the door, and rightfully so. Most of them probably should. But I really do. I've found myself, I've come to a place where I think we put so much emphasis on being profitable that we've actually created many of the critical issues we have, especially on technician, because we're focused on what I think is the wrong thing. And what I think we should be focused on is getting it done right the first time. And it's easy to say that, it really is. And I have to have conversations with customers many times where I have to justify why it took what it took. And there are times where it's easy for me to read through the text notes and realize, okay, you know what? There was definitely some extra time here that was not appropriate because they genuinely didn't have enough experience, they didn't have the right knowledge, whatever. In that situation, yeah, I will deduct whatever time seems appropriate, 2 hours, 3 hours, if even that much. That is valid, and I think that's fair, but that's not that common. But part of it is it's a different mindset and it's a different business model completely. And so that's part of what you got to decide is what kind of business model do you want to run. I'm not saying mine fits what you need for yours. I'm just expressing that I'd like us as an industry and as managers and as people and as even technicians, there is a different way to think about this and still be very successful. We have a very successful team and business with what we're doing. You see much of the work and much of the things we've got going on through what I talk about in this channel. So I think that's some sort of proof of concept to some degree. Maybe it, like I said, I don't know. I can keep rambling about this. It's just been on my mind, and you know, it's interesting because we take on new hires and stuff, and they come from those ways, and you know, I came up in those ways too, and I don't know how I eventually evolved into my current mindset and everything. I couldn't really explain that to you. What I do know is I have found a way to make this successful, and I'd like to talk about it more, and I'd like more people to have an opportunity to see what it is that we've done at our company for our team, and hopefully it'll do some good for you and it'll create a less stressful environment to some degree for somebody and provide a better service, because that's one of the things, you know, sometimes you're looking for a way to stand out, not only for hiring but also stand out with your customers. In my opinion, I think this is one way to start down that road. All right, we're getting the gas in the truck now, but I appreciate you taking the time, listen to me rant and just go on about my stuff and my thoughts and just all this, whatever. I got all kinds of crap up in there. I gotta be careful sometimes, but I appreciate Phil Pulse for sponsoring this video. You know, they're a great partner to the channel and everything I've got going on here. They've really done a lot to just come alongside and try to do what they can to help support as a thank you. Like, I really encourage you that if you're looking for a good way to invest in good software and have a good team that can back you up on your admin side in terms of being, whether it be like the billing side of it or just your work orders, customer accounts, doesn't matter. Just talk to them. See what they've got going on. Michael, Gabe, one of those guys over there will take care of you. I got links in the description. With that, MTT everybody, I'm gonna finish getting home to the family and get ready for another day. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see y'all around. Bye.